But wait, there's more. Of course, there's more. You noticed in the other video, in the Platinum Challenge number 4, um, here's what I didn't do. I didn't call out anybody by name. I left it open because something about the story was a little weird to me, right? But I was contacted by Sean Holcomb, who's the guy who's putting the whole thing on. And he's obviously very upset. He doesn't want his reputation to be tarnished. I get all of that, right? And he was attempting to explain things away, and he wanted to be interviewed so he could talk about them. And I was down for all of that, certainly. But my response back was, at the very least, even if everything is as he says it is, can't he realize how bad things look? And he kind of owned that up to that, and he kind of threw it on COVID. And he's like, I've contacted Sting's agent and all this kind of stuff. But that didn't ring true to me either. And I was trying to figure this thing out. And then what did you do, people out there? You contacted me. Bless you all. You contacted me and you put the pieces in place. So if you look at any of the Superstars Fan Fest stuff, you got to go back, right? They've been doing these fan fests and they've been going very well. Maybe they didn't make money, whatever. That's irrelevant, right? They were run on the up and up. They were very well received. People had a good time doing the shows because I've known people who have done those shows and they said, like, it's always gone fine. I don't know what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. If you look at the Superstars Fan Fest stuff now, there's a company there called Gimmick Tree Entertainment. Gimmick Tree Entertainment, what's that, Steve? They're the vendor. They're the vendor that Sean Holcomb keeps talking about. The vendor that's going to get them Sting, the vendor that's going to do this, the vendor that's going to do that. And it seemed familiar to me. I'm like, how do I know Gimmick Tree Entertainment? I realize they're the guys that do a lot of the stuff with the deathmatch promotions that I go to that I love, like ICW, right? They do some of that like live auction stuff where they auction stuff off. And then so I looked into Gimmick Tree Entertainment. And here's what I found. Here's the things that were sent to me by different people. Anyone in this room, because it's a whole thing set up to catch scammers, and so people can sell their story or tell their stories about people who have screwed them over in the wrestling business. Anyone in this room have an issue with Charlie Hartman? Who's Charlie Hartman? Charlie Hartman is the guy who owns Gimmick Tree Entertainment. They had originally established themselves in Nevada in 2015, but in 2017, their license was revoked and they were kicked out for bad business practices. So they reopened in Jersey, which is where they are now. Anyone in this room have an issue with Charlie Hartman, Gimmick Tree Entertainment? He scammed me a while back with Brian Cage personal gear. Brian left me a voicemail and I would like other experiences to share with him as well. There were other fake signature issues with autograph stuff with Charlie as well. Yes, Charlie is trash, sells fake autographs, and takes forever to ship, and orders are almost always messed up. Stay away from him. My new Jack personalized came so messed up because they don't know how to handle pictures after being signed. The autograph was smeared. He blocked me. Dude sold someone a fake Kamala signature, and then everyone started checking their stuff with Beckett and JSA things. It didn't pass. The autographs were fake. No, but supposedly he's bringing Sting to some convention in Georgia where the promoter says he's working with him because he believes in redemption. I know Charlie Armstrong Hartman of Gimmick Tree Forgeries did some bad things for the past 20 years, culminating in his sales of massive amount of forgeries. But does anyone know if he's okay? He seems to have gone into hiding like most con men do, always to resurface eventually for their next con. But I'm just hoping he's alive and well. I just thought I'd ask on here in case any of his blind followers and fans might know. My next step will be to put his picture on milk cartons. Don't worry if you're reading this, Charlie. I'll make sure your photo is only on cartons of whole milk. He's pretty much disappeared, it seems. Nothing new on his gimmick tree page since the call-outs on him. Charlie sold me a fake Bret Hart autograph, then mails me another fake Bret Hart autograph, and I mailed them back to him, and they were returned to me because the address he told me to send them back to no longer exists. He takes forever to ship items. But wait, there's more. I'm just going to flash these pictures up here. Yep. So these are things that were reported to Yelp and also the Better Business Bureau and other things, right? It's basically, there's Charlie's information right there. He would try to pull this scam a year or two ago where he would call places and say, oh, I sent something there to be repaired, but I don't need it to be repaired anymore. Can you just send it back to me? And he would get a hold of enough fake numbers that he would try to pull this scam where he would get these businesses who would legitimately repair stuff. It looked like it was like amplifiers and stuff like that, really expensive electronic equipment, and try to get them to send them to him. And every time he was found out to be bogus. Well, Steve, that's just one person reporting. Wait, no, there's one. There's another. And there's another. Yeah. No, this is a common thing that he does. And again, all this stuff I'm saying about Charlie Hartman, it's all stuff that can be looked up. It's all stuff that I went and researched, right? Charlie Hartman's criminal record, he's got a rap sheet. It's long, like 57 pages long. Yeah. He's been in and out of jail on charges like fraud, burglary, assault, organized fraud, identity theft. Yeah. He did his time in jail and all that. Now, does that mean that he's guilty in this case? No, not necessarily. However, a history of defrauding people in wrestling, a history of taking advantage of people, a history of taking advantage of people's better natures. Do I think Sean Holcomb intentionally is screwing over anybody? Absolutely not. Let me put that out on the record. And if he still wants to interview, he can interview with us. But do I now think that this vendor that he's dealing with, Gimmick Tree Entertainment, is keeping the money? Because Sean's not getting any of the money for the Sting autographs. You know how many people have contacted me when I sort of like unofficially put the call out, like, tell me how much money that you're in on the Sting autograph stuff. People gave $80, $150, even more, right? Right now, I'm between $2,000 and $3,000 just of people who have contacted me. Money that they've given that presumably Gimmick Tree Entertainment has, and they haven't delivered on. And they just keep telling Sean, oh yeah, we just talked to Sting's agent, it's cool. We just talked to Sting's agent, it's cool. It's not cool. And Gimmick Tree has had a record, literally and figuratively, of taking people's money and giving them bogus fake autographs and all the rest of this stuff. Do I think Charlie Hartman, just because he's done jail time for things like fraud and all the rest of it, deserves to never have a chance the rest of his life? Of course not. But do I think that it's sketchy that they were kicked out of Nevada, had a restart in Jersey, and continue to pull scams, and continue to pull the same kind of scams with multiple groups in multiple fields, not just wrestling, that they're faking autographs, that they take forever to deliver? That it seems like their whole life is taking money from here? Listen to some of this craziness, right? It's stuff like the address that he gave me. I was supposed to send the money on PayPal, but I wasn't supposed to send it to him directly. I was supposed to send it to this other thing and then put this one address in, or mail the money to this one address of this person that he knows. Everything is shady. Everything's indirect. Everything is always promises made and never kept. That's Gimmick Tree Entertainment. And the fact that, and somebody had told me, because a number of people contacted me, and you know what they said? So glad you said something. So glad you're doing something, because something needs to get done. And so I'm going to continue to follow up. But a couple of people thought, well, they're no longer dealing with Gimmick Tree Entertainment. They took them off of the flyers and stuff. But that's not true, because I looked at the very latest flyers they have about the Horsemen coming in. Do I believe that they're bringing in the Horsemen as a make good? Yes, in the sense that Gimmick Tree Entertainment has a working relationship, at least with Arn, right? Are they going to bring in the rest of them? I don't know. But do I believe in any way, shape, or form that they have had contact with Sting or dealt with Sting or Sting's agent? I do not. And what you're dealing with Gimmick Tree Entertainment are just a couple of guys pulling cons. Yep. Scott Wilder, Charlie Hartman most of all. They've screwed people out of money. They've been reported a ton of times. They've skipped from state to state to try to escape this stuff. And now they're continuing to run scams. I do not hate Sean Holcomb, but I feel sorry for him because he's being taken advantage of. And the sooner that he realizes it, the sooner that he does something about it, maybe the thing can be saved. But as of now, well, I just gave you as of now. And so I ask again, when you look at this track record, and it's not very hard to find, do a Google search for Gimmick Tree Entertainment. Do a Google search for Charlie Hartman and see what you find within the first 10 hits, folks, is all these people talking about how he's conned them out of money and the shady business practices and how he has repeatedly done stuff like this. And tell me and answer once again, no matter what live videos Sean Holcomb or anybody else wants to do, when it comes to Gimmick Tree Entertainment, your business partners in this thing, tell me, do they have all the money for all the people that gave money in order to have interactions with Sting that are never going to happen? I'm sure. Are they the vendors that you keep talking about that are going to deal with this thing and be straight up? Of course not. So I ask this question again. Am I wrong?